Hi, my name's Mary with Sewing for Madison. Crafting is my passion and I love teaching others how easy and fun it can be. Let's get started with our first project, and that is cutting out these zipper pulls and attaching the plastic tabs. Okay, there's a few tools that we're going to need for today's project. We are going to need our snap punch. This puts the snap tabs on the item. We also have a hole punch. We have our little rings here to attach to our zippers, and then of course our plastic snap tabs. So I'm going to start by go ahead and removing this item from the hoop and cutting out each zipper pull. I'm going to trim off the back pieces of thread before I begin. Okay, now I'm going to cut out each individual zipper pull. I'm leaving about a 2mm seam allowance around the finished stitching. Okay, now that we have all of that done, we're going to use our hole punch and punch the holes for the snap tabs. And I don't know what size it is, but I like to use the second from the smallest. This particular punch comes in a set, which includes rivets and a little hammer and some other punch tools. I'll make sure to put a link down in the description. It's probably one of the best punches that I've ever worked with. Okay, so we have our holes in there. Now we're going to lay out our snaps and start putting those together. Alright, so what I like to do is just work on one at a time, and I get out all the pieces that I need. So your male and your female, and then your front and your back. This piece is the piece you're going to see, so I'm going to put the star there. Once you have both sides on, you're going to grab your pincher tool, put it in there, and use slight pressure just like that. Same thing on the top part. Just like that. And then find my ring. Snap that closed and it's ready to go. Now you may be wondering why I didn't use a rivet, and that is because if you can see this area is very, very thick. So yes, I could use a giant rivet, but I have found when using felt, it is a little easier to do the snap tabs, and they hold up a little bit better on these really thick items. Okay, let's do the other 4 or other 3. Alright, great. We have those all finished. I'm going to put all of these away, and then we're going to grab all of our pizza parts and get those kits put together. Okay, so I'm ready to put these pizza sets together, and I just like to dump all of my toppings and everything right out into a bin so I can grab exactly what I need. I'm going to start out by separating my pizza slices out because I know that they are really big and it will make it easier to find all the toppings. I'm going to go ahead and pull the cheese out too. Alright, I think that's all the toppings. Let's get all the cheese. Oops, one more slice. Let's get all the cheese out of here. All right, great. Now I can see what I'm doing a little bit easier. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and attach the zipper pull to the zipper for each of the bags, and I'm going to do one set at a time. So this is how I like to do it. Grab my little zipper bag, my bag in there, and then I'm going to grab my slices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Grab my cheese, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and go down the menu and pick out the things that I need. So I'm gonna get 6 green peppers. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and I'm gonna do 8 mushrooms. 5, And I'm going to do 3 pineapples and 8 pepperoni. And 3 onions and 8 black olives. And then 6 fish. Okay, and then the menu. And that pizza set is now complete and ready to go to the office to mail out. And we're just gonna repeat that process for the other 2 sets. All right, so it's 3 fish short, so I just gotta cut these out real quick to add them to this order. All right, great, so I got those 3 done. Now let's start on our Merkitty project. Before I move on to that Merkitty project, I wanted to show you the kit that this cool punch comes in. You can get it right on Amazon, and I'll put a link down in the description. My kit's a little bit messy and my hammer's missing. Hold on. Here is the little hammer. It goes right here. And then a couple of my pieces are loose. So, and this thing goes over here. All right, so it comes with this box of rivets, and it has a few different punches and rivet tools that it comes with. Oh, here's another one. And then it has a little tiny metal ruler, and then some more rivet and screwdriver accessories right here in this little box. So I really like this kit. I'm not that experienced with rivets or snaps, but someday I will start to use those a little bit more. And this is just a really great kit because it has all the components that you need to do rivets with. So again, I'll put a link down in the description for this really cool kit. Okay, let's talk about the materials that we're going to be using for today's project. We are going to be using a 5x7 hoop. This is hooped with a 2.5 cutaway stabilizer, and we're also going to be using the 4x4 hoop, also hooped with the same cutaway stabilizer. Material wise, for our bag, we are going to be using 2 pieces of green felt, and then this really fun costume fabric. This has a scale print, and it'll be perfect for a mermaid tail bag. We also need a ribbon, and we need basting spray for this part of the project, and also pins. For the finger puppet part, or actually felty part, I have some scrap scale mermaid faux leather. So I actually have 4 different colors, so we're gonna go with 4 felties. I'm using some scrap felt as well, and I've just paired this up with different colors felts to make different color Mercuries. So here is our 4 Mercuries. We're using the 4x4 hoop so I can individualize and make 4 different felties. Also, I forgot to add, we will be using a water-soluble topper on our bag. Let's head over to the machine and get started with the bag. The first thing I need to do for this bag project is to change out my needle. Because I'm working with a costume fabric, I want to use a ballpoint needle. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm gonna thread my The first step on this design is the placement stitch for the ribbons. Now I'm going to tape my ribbon to the hoop. I cut my ribbon just a little bit long for my handle. I'm going to grab 2 more pieces of tape. You have to be careful on this step that your ribbon doesn't catch on your presser foot when you're taking it in and out of the machine. Oh, my thread came off. This is securing that ribbon down. All right, our next part is I'm going to trim up this ribbon to and then what I'm going to use is my spray adhesive. I'm going to spray it on to this part of the fabric and then adhere it on and then put this down on the hoop like that. Okay? I like to spray over my trash can. If you're using a fabric like this next part's important. You want to make sure that your scales are going in the correct direction. Now I'm going to spray this part. And because this top fabric is a 4-way stretch, I'm going to use some pins to hold this into place so that it doesn't move. Just in the 4 corners. Okay, now we're ready to head back to the machine. Our next step is going to be to secure this fabric down. Oops, I forgot a step. I forgot I wanted to add the water-soluble stabilizer. Okay, the next step is going to be doing the fine details here and here. Okay, our next step on this bag is to do the top stitching for the top, and then we're going to add the back piece of fabric on. Okay, here we are with that part. Now we're going to add our back piece. Okay, so now our design is done, and I'm going to remove it from the hoop. Make sure you take those pins out. And the first thing I'm going to do is pull off this water-soluble topper. Just use your patience if you're having trouble, and you might have to use little tweezers or the edge of your smallest scissor to get in here in those little tiny spots. Okay, so I have all of it done besides this part here. So we're gonna do a little spray bottle and paper towel on that. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out first. I'm leaving about a 3mm seam allowance. A little more water soluble stabilizer right there. The trick to having really straight lines with your scissors when you're cutting out things like this is to keep your scissors steady and move your fabric around. All right, now we need to cut around the ribbon. So how I like to do this is I'm going to cut the inside first. So I kind of hold my finger where the edge of that ribbon goes to. And then I make a straight cut to that point. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then get this ribbon out of the way and cut the top there. Okay, now we have left the fronts and the backs here. So I am going to cut the back part, the stabilizer off so it's not in my way. And then I'm going to bring this down in the front, holding that ribbon back and finishing up this cut line. Sorry, my hand was in the way. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I just need to even up this edge. Great, okay, let me get all this scrap out of the way. All right, so now comes the fun part of removing that water-soluble stabilizer. So if you're using not a costume fabric, you can get some paper towel wet and use your flat iron and get it off that way. This, however, is not a fabric that can be ironed. It will melt. So I'm gonna go ahead and just wet it down and then dab it with my paper towel. And this is going to remove that water soluble stabilizer. You may have to do it a couple times until all of it's removed. You'll know when it's removed because it has a sticky feeling to it when it's still on there. And just do this as many times as you need. And then lay it out to dry. Okay, so we are gonna do the first merc hat, and the very first step in this felty is the outline stitch. Now I'm going to remove my hoop and I'm going to secure my fabric piece to it. I'm going to be using pins. You can use basting spray. Whatever you want to use is fine, just as long as it's secure and it doesn't move around. The next few steps are going to be the face stitching. The next step here is putting our faux leather over top of this applique outline. If you didn't use faux leather, you could put a piece of felt or piece of fabric, whatever you're going to use. If you're using something with a print, like this one has scales on it, just make sure that your scales are going in the right direction. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to just trim back this piece here so that we can do the final outline stitch on the tail. This point, I want to adhere the back piece of fabric because it's going to do the final outline. Okay, so I've trimmed this and I've put my back piece of fabric on. Our last step is to secure the head. All right, our first merc hat is complete. Now, a couple things that I wanted to point out. When you're doing a felty or a finger puppet and you're doing these details around here and around the outside here, you want to make sure that you're using a contrasting color in comparison with your fabric. Like, for example, I wouldn't want to use a pink here on the tail because then it's not going to pop. You need to use the correct color for the fabric choices. So I'm going to go ahead and make the next 3 felties, so enjoy this time lapse. Wow, we did some great work today. We started out the day with finishing up our 3 orders for the pretend pizza play sets, and then we started a new project. We made this mermaid tail bag. This design is from Ohana Applique Designs, and then we made these really cute mer kittens. They came out really, really great. I'm going to show you in more details in some pictures. Now, let's talk about the products that we used today. So, if you remember back when we did the snap tabs, we used that set with the hole punch. I highly recommend that. If you are looking to do punch work with your embroidery designs, that set beats a lot of the other sets. I'm going to put a link down in the description. We also use those plastic snap tabs. You can get those on Amazon as well, so I'm going to link those as well. Then some of the other supplies that we used are standard embroidery supplies: your cutaway stabilizer, your ballpoint needles, your water-soluble topper, and of course the felt. You can find that felt in my Sewing for Madison shop on Etsy. And then this great mer set is also going to be in my Etsy shop. So I hope that you liked my video today. Make sure that you smash that like button and you subscribe. And I'm going to show you a sneak peek of what my next tutorial is going to be on. So let me just grab it real quick. And this is a baby bib. So I got to get it turned around here. This is Madison's Reborn doll, and this cute little bib is an embroidery in the hoop design. This particular bib that's on this baby doll is a 5x7 size, so I am going to be doing a tutorial on how to make this bib in my next tutorial. So make sure that you subscribe, you turn those post notifications on, and until next time, happy crafting.